Have some dreams, and some goals, and some aspirations. Raise your hands if you got some dreams, some goals, and aspirations. Raise your hands high. You got some things that you want to accomplish. You got some great things that you want to do. You want to change the world. How many of you guys know that it's going to take a little bit of money to do that? Right? It's going to take a little bit of money to do that. So one thing I want to impress upon you, that I impress upon the kids that I speak to in second grade, third grade, and fourth grade, they have a hard time saying this. I want to be rich. I want to be rich. Now, what I explain to them is that I don't want you to be rich because of the money. I want you to be rich because of what the money can do. The money can send a kid to college debt-free. The money, it can build a school, it can build a hospital. The money, it's not about having it, it's about what you do with it. And I believe that I'm here today, and I'm surrounded by people that want to do good on this earth. I believe that I attract who I am, and I'm around some people today that want to change the world. Not just in our own life, but in the life of our family, the life of our community, the life of our sororities, the life of our cities, the life of our state, the life of our country, the life of everyone that's in the world. And what I understand, that's going to take a little bit of money. Wealth begins in the mind. Now, when I go to these classes and I talk to these students, the number one thing I ask them is, when I talk to successful people, the Oprahs of the world, the Tyler Perrys of the world, the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs of the world, there's one thing I want to know. What is the number one thing that you did to be successful? What's the number one thing that you did to build wealth? And if I were to ask you that today, what would be your answer? What's the number one thing that they say they do to be wealthy? Anybody got any answers? Make your dreams a reality. That is a great answer. That's not the number one thing, but that's right up the top of the list. Anybody else got a guess? The number one thing that they say they do to be wealthy. Yes, ma'am.
I say planning.
Planning. Great answer. That is not the number one answer. We really don't close. Anyone else?
Wisdom.
You said investments. That's great. That's how you build that wealth. You get that money working for you. That's not the number one thing.
Gaining knowledge.
Gaining knowledge. Oh, we're right on track now. How do they do that? The number one thing that every successful person will say that they do is read. Now here's the thing, if we understand all these great answers, we know what wealthy people do, we know what successful people do. If we're not successful, then we gotta ask ourselves, why don't I just do what successful people do? Because these people ask me, say, ERGJ, how did you go from being a financial zero to being a financial hero? And I tell them, I just read. I read a good book. It's one of the best financial books you can ever read. And I applied it to my life. Got out of debt, started to build wealth, started to buy assets, started to invest, started to make my money work for me. How many of you guys are in here today and you know that there's a different way to earn income than just with your labor? Many of us are trading our time for money, but there's a whole different population of people who understand that they can hire you to trade your time for money and they can make money off of your back. See, this is what we teach some of the kids. Wealth begins in the mind, so we have to start to change some of the ways we think. Now, if you want to be wealthy, you want to be successful, right? You have to do what successful people do. And the number one thing that they say they do is read. Now, why am I saying this? Because we got some people that are going off to school. We got some people that's going to face this world. They're going to start to face some distractions. All right? They're going to have the TV. They're going to have the parties. They're going to have the studying. They're going to have all these things that's going to prevent them or try to prevent them from doing the things that are necessary to be successful. And what I want you to say to yourself is that I'm going to do whatever it takes to reach my goals. I'm going to do whatever it takes to reach my goals. So as you're thinking about what it is that you want to do, your dreams, your aspirations, and your goals, here's what I want you to repeat after me. I want you to say, it is possible.
It's possible.
I want you to say it again, it is possible.
It's possible.
It is absolutely possible for you to accomplish what you like to accomplish. And I got that from my mentor, Les Brown. Met him 3 or 4 times. I just a little blab with him. You don't know what blab is. I'll tell you about that later. It's possible, but I wanted to refine his philosophy. They're going to say, yes, Mr. Brown, it is possible. Well, here's what I understand. A lot of people know that it's possible, but it seems that it's just possible for everybody. It's possible to get out of debt. It's possible to have a house with no mortgage. It's possible to have a car with no payment. It's possible to be a student with no loan. But here's what I want you to really say when you think about your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations. I want you to say that it's possible for me. See how weak that was? It's possible for me.
It's possible for me.
I still feel a little weakness because we know that it's possible for anybody to do, but I want you to say it's your dream. It's your goal. It's your aspiration. It's possible for me.
It's possible for me.
Now I'm starting to believe it. Now I got some people that are believing. Now I got some people that are inspired, that are ready to go out and do and change this world. It's possible for me. Now imagine that. Many of us go to church every Sunday, right? Wednesday, we read a good book, we do good things in this world, but for some reason, there's a lot of people that I come across that just don't believe that it's possible for them. And here's the deal, guys. If we want to get to that land of milk and honey, if we want to be rich in order to do what rich people can do in order to change this world, first we got to want to go there. How many guys know some people that just don't want to go? They're comfortable being comfortable. And if you want to cross that threshold to the land of milk and honey, you got to go across that Red Sea. In order to get there, that's going to take some uncomfortable steps. Can't be comfortable being comfortable. Right? But then after you realize that I want to go, then you got to actually take some steps to go there. And what I'm saying to you guys is that I understand the number one thing that successful people do is read. So I read each and every day. I want you to make reading, gaining knowledge. And it doesn't have to be reading, of course. We got audiobooks. We got these great phones that can travel all across the globe. You got mentors that you can watch and listen to. You got a lot of different ways to acquire knowledge, but we have to make it a deliberate. We have to be intentional. Have to be intentional about what we want to do. So it's possible, and it's possible for me. So as I talk to people about money, and I talk to people, it's not just, again, when I talk about wealth, a lot of people just think money, and it's not just money. There's a lot of things that's more important, more valuable than money. And I believe the number one thing is your time. Your time. Where are you investing your time? Where are you investing your time? And here's the deal. I could ask you right now what's valuable to you, right? And many of you guys would give me great answers. But then I would turn around and I would say to you, show me where you spend your time. Show me where you spend your money. And I'll tell you what's valuable to you. And what I want to do today, I want to inspire you to make that alignment correct. That what you say out of your mouth and where you spend your time and money, that they align. That is how you get the universe to get behind you and work with you towards your goal. When you know where you want to go and you are in alignment with that place, the universe will conspire to make sure that you get there. And this is what I learned when I transitioned away from my job to building my own company, is that if I just decided where I wanted to go, I made it intentional. I said, this is where I want to be. This is when I want to get there. I've seen in my life that all of my goals have been accomplished, that all of my dreams that I began to build, and I'm continuing to build, that I'm reaching them. And I'm sure all of you can say the same thing. You thought about that first car that you wanted. You said, I want this car. And you probably were driving it at some point in your life. I want this game. And you had that game at some point in your life. I want to take this lesson, learn piano or whatever. At some point in your life, you probably had it. Because you set it as a goal, you set it in your mind, and it came out into your life. Wealth begins in the mind. What you put in your mind, what you decide to put in front of your eyes and put into your ears, ultimately, it will transfer out into your life. Wealth begins in the mind. So as I wrap up, guys, I wanted to share a few things for you that are graduating, a few nuggets that I want to share with you, resources as well that you can take with you. Let me pull it up real quick, and then I'll be done. I had so much, guys, I wanted to share with you. I could go on and on and on. And the people that know me, they know. And once I get started, I might not get it right back, but that's okay. We here today, we family. So I want to share this with you. One of the things that you want to be aware of or be concerned about is who you hang with, your association. You're going to be the average of the 5 people that you spend time with. If you're hanging around with 4 broke people, guess who's going to get the 5th one? Right? If you're hanging out with 5 rich people, guess who's going to be the 5th one? Now here's the deal. Your associations, they don't necessarily have to be who's connected to you. Remember, I just told you I was hanging out with Les Brown. You know, I hang out with Steve Jobs. I hang out with Warren Buffett. Why? Because they put their stories in books. And it's free to go get. And people will go all the time and say, what did you read? And I say, hey, here's the book. Here's the red I read. They'll go buy the book. But they'll never read it. The book that you don't read won't help. Repeat that again. The book that you don't read won't help. Wealth begins in the mind. Here's a quote that came out today that I shared with people as it relates to, I dropped 6 people out of my life. 6 people out of my life. And I decided I was no longer going to hang out with these people ever again. First person I dropped was later. The second person that I dropped was soon. The third person I dropped was someday. The fourth person I dropped was one day. The fifth person that I dropped was maybe. And the 6th person I dropped, very, very cool person, was interesting. These people, if you hang around them, they will waste your time. Don't hang around with procrastinators. Be around people that are going to do stuff and do it now. You don't have to wait to get a nonprofit to go feed the homeless. You just go do it. All right, so your quote of the day, don't let the opinions of the average man sway you. Don't let the opinions of the average man sway you. Dream, and he thinks you're crazy. Succeed, and he thinks you're lucky. Acquire wealth, and he thinks you're greedy. Pay no attention. He simply doesn't understand. Quote by Robert Allen. In my last 3 resources I want to leave with you guys. Remember I said I tell people what to read and just simply don't read it. So hopefully you're going to be the person that's going to read it and you're going to listen to it. The first thing I want to provide for you today is The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. This is an audio book you can find on YouTube. And I believe that this is something that should be mandated in school. It'll change the way that you think. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. 30 minutes to change your life. The second book, The Alchemist. The Alchemist. The Alchemist is a book that Oprah Winfrey recommends, Will Smith recommends, Pharrell recommends, but for some reason people simply just won't read the book. And then the third book, the book that changed my financial life, The Richest Man in Babylon. You want to be wealthy? Read this book. I'm ERGJ, a Certified Financial Educator. It's been great to be with you today. Wealth begins in the mind, and it takes a village, and it starts with us. Have a good day.